To get started, guys?
Ready.
Grayson, you all ready for us?
Just one more second. Let me share the screen and we are good to go. Carry on.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Rotary Club of O'Fallon. Charlie Pitts is going to lead us today in the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance as we open our meeting.
Morning, everybody. Before we start out, I thought it would be, we always do the pledge, and it's always a little unclear to me how long the pledge has been around. So I thought I'd remind people, everybody except Jerry, of course, Jerry was there at the original, but about the pledge. It started September 18th in 1892. It was first published in a kid magazine, the Youth Companion. It was written to celebrate the 400th anniversary of the discovery of America. There was originally some confusion about who wrote the pledge. Both James Upton and Francis Bellamy, who were both editors at the Youth Companion, but Bellamy is generally acknowledged as the author. Now that pledge was a little different. It said, "I pledge allegiance to my flag and the republic," and it went on. In 1924, the flag of the United States of America was put in place of my flag. And on June 22nd, 1942, the 77th Congress of the United States officially recognized the pledge by public law. 77-623. And that's your history lesson for the day. So if we could say a prayer, please. O great God, who created everything from the smallest parts of an atom to the universe itself and to all that inhabits it, help us remember in every moment that everything we see is your creation. We ask you to guide our understanding and empathy, that we will treat every person of every color, every creed, every political persuasion, and every sexual alignment as someone you have created. We ask you to guide our club in choosing how to make your world a better place for all. Amen. And if you would stand for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the
flag
United States of
of the United
America
States of America
and to the
and
republic for which it
for which
stands,
it stands,
one nation
one nation under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice.
liberty and justice for all.
And now for the Rotary International four-way test +1. Of all the things we think, say, and do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial for all concerned? And 5, will it be fun?
Will it be fun?
Thank you, Charlie. All right, guys. I believe we have a guest today. Rich, would you like to introduce your guest?
Well, I haven't seen his picture, so I'm assuming he's here. Once again, I'd like to introduce Larry Strube. Larry, are you with us today? He told me he would be here, but I did not see his smiling face. But Larry has submitted his paperwork to become a member, and I think we have some good news on that. So Larry, if you're here, welcome. And if not, we'll be seeing you soon.
Thank you, Rich. Yes, as a matter of fact, we did an email vote from the board to accept Larry's application, and now his waiting period starts. I believe that's a 7-day waiting period. And once that is over, then we will induct him into the club. So we're so excited to have Larry in our club. And Rich, thank you so much for asking someone else to join our club. All right. Sheriff Davis, do you have Happy Bucks and trivia for us?
Let's see. Happy Bucks. Well, I count my blessings every day because my daughter and my grandsons are all healthy. I am healthy. And I think that we need to be very grateful to be here with Rotary this morning and all of our Rotary friends. It is a great day to start out the week. So that's my happy buck. Is there anybody else out there with a happy buck?
I have a happy buck.
Mary Alice.
Oh, I guess I'm off.
Shirley, go.
Oh, you can hear me then.
Yes.
I'm going to have my left knee replaced, and I'm trying to wait until January because I love to decorate for Christmas. However, my happy buck is my daughter recommended an offloading brace, and I have it on, and it makes a world of difference. Instead of complaining about my knee all the time, I don't even think about it when the brace is on. So I'm super happy.
Hey, Shirley, are you going to decorate the you have now for Christmas and then get the other, then get it replaced? Is that why you're saving that for? You weren't going to do it until after Christmas.
I'm confused. I'm going to decorate probably the first day of December for Christmas. I'll take all the fall stuff down and put up Christmas. And then who knows when it's going to come down. I know it's at least a 3-month recovery. So it may not come down until April. Who knows?
Hey, Shirley, would you share with us, this is Phil Rob, would you share, does this offloading brace cause any restriction to your walking or anything?
None whatsoever.
Wow.
Well, I take that back. There is one, I cannot lay down with it. It has to be off. But walking, sitting, because the knee part is open. It's just pushing one of the bones that's coming out back in, or keeping it in alignment, I guess I should say.
Well, Sheriff, this is Phil Roberts. I got a happy buck just because Shirley doesn't have that kind of concern anymore.
Oh, thank you, Phil.
Yeah. Any
Anybody
more
else?
happy bucks?
I too am happy for Shirley, and I'm happy that I covered all my garden plants last night. And at 6:15 this morning, I noticed that cover was very well received, and the frost didn't get my tomatoes and things. And I don't see any frost in the forecast for a week, so we're good to go.
Very true. Very true. Any other happy bucks?
Yeah, this is Jerry. I have a happy buck for Shirley's. I want to see her decorated knee. It's a joke with Rich.
I'll paint a snowman on it.
Aw.
I have a happy
That's
buck.
great.
I had a family emergency and I drove my sister-in-law to Virginia to take care of her grandchildren because my nephew was diagnosed with COVID-19, and he's got a lot of underlying conditions and he's heavy. And so we were all terrified for him. He went into the emergency room right before we got there. So we were able to, he was able to take care of the kids, and he had the house totally environmentally fumigated, and we didn't go into the house, but my sister-in-law did. My sister and I stayed in a hotel and, waited to see how everything went. He was pretty bad the first night, but they gave him steroids and anticoagulants, and his lungs were clear. So they were pretty optimistic at that point, and we were so relieved. And it's a testament to how the treatments have improved for COVID-19, and that he went to this hospital that has a lot of experience. They know what to do. And he was actually released on Friday, and then we drove home. So I am so thankful to have made that trip and appears safely, although I'm staying close to home for the next week, just so I don't, if I, got any bad juju, I'm going to stay home and, not bother anybody else. So I just want to just praise the hospital and the workers and everything for his recovery. He's doing better each day, and it's amazing.
Thank you. We'll all be in prayer for you.
Thank you,
I
Mary.
have a happy buck. Our joint Rotary Habitat for Humanity house on Dartmouth is framed up. The roof trusses have been delivered, and next Saturday we will have a team of pros come in and set the roof trusses and put the sheathing on. If you haven't been by 209 Dartmouth to see the project, get a chance, drive by there and see our progress. We should probably in early November have some opportunities for volunteers to come and help with the drywall and painting and some of those kinds of things.
That's exciting, Jim.
Great.
Thank you for sharing that.
Hey, Jim. Jim, this is Ryan Johnson. I live right there across the street, and it is very impressive to see you guys out there working, getting that thing as quickly progressed as you have.
It's been pretty amazing to watch. we couldn't believe it happened that fast either.
Congratulations. Any other happy bucks? Are we ready to move on to our trivia?
Yes. Real quick, Sheriff Ken. So Sheriff Ken, the way it's going to work today, Sheriff Ken is going to read us the question, and when he's done offering all of the answer possibilities, I want you all are going to be assigned to a breakout room where you'll be able to discuss it amongst yourselves, and hopefully will yield a higher correct answer response. So I'm just saying that don't be influenced by other members. Okay, guys, this is your time to shine. If you know the answer, really, really rally for your answer. Okay, guys?
All right. And this one, we're going to start into something new, and that is a Rotary Global History of Rotary. And our first question is, this Rotary president first was a newspaper reporter in Denver, Colorado. Was it Frank J. Devlin, Glenn Estes, or Paul P. Harris? Again, this Rotary president first was a newspaper reporter in Denver, Colorado.
Okay, don't answer yet, guys. Remember, you're about to get zoomed into a breakout room where you can make your case for which one of these three it was.
All right, you all should have gotten your invitations to go to a breakout room, so see you later.
Yeah. Was Paul Harris an attorney?
I think so. Yeah, I don't think he was a newspaper guy either. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm
So
feeling Estes. You guys made a good case for Estes. How about you, Carm?
Did they throw in Estes just to pull us that way? I don't know.
Could be a misleader, huh? Could be a
Yeah.
red hair.
Sheriff Ken, I will pull everybody back in just about another minute here.
Okay, great. I love the breakout room.
Not everyone was as quick to determine the wrong answer as we.
But that was some great discussion because there were some things that I didn't know about the gentleman on the list that these guys they were on it. They did a great job of. So I learned something new today. Thanks, guys. Very good.
Everybody should be back shortly.
Second, so.
Okay, everybody is back, but we've got about 50% of the vote in, so make sure you mark it on your end, what your answer is.
Everybody's busy discussing it.
I didn't see where we had a chance to vote while we were talking, but maybe I missed that. Hey, that was fun though.
Are we
When you come
individually?
back on, you should have it.
Are we
Yeah, I
individually
did now.
supposed to vote?
I did now.
Yeah, go ahead and vote.
I voted.
You know, it's a good thing that Sheriff Ken can't
voted.
hear what we say about him when we're in the breakout rooms.
Well, you
Hi, Ken.
you guys were awesome. Hey, Phil.
Ken Davis has thick skin.
Well, yeah, he has to be a sheriff of this group. I mean, you know, a wild group like this, I mean, gee, I respect
Thanks, Greg.
Tanya's willingness to take this on.
No
Okay.
fair. Greg Yanks a
Absolutely.
ringer on this one. No fair. Greg Yanks a ringer on this one.
What?
I'm
He
not
knows.
sure I have the right answer, Jerry.
Okay, I have all the votes in, and it looks like most people, 31 out of the 45 of us, give or take, voted on Glenn Estes, and then followed by Paul Harris with 5 of us, and then Frank Devlin was 2 votes. So Ken, go ahead.
Wow. I am I am amazed. Well, the answer to the question is Paul Harris.
No,
go.
no, that can't be right. I thought he was a lawyer.
Was he a newspaper person in Colorado
Newspaper person.
before he became a lawyer?
Oh,
Was a
man.
newspaper reporter in Denver.
It's the trick part of that is the middle initial is P, and that's not the original Paul Harris.
Oh,
Oh.
trick question. Way to go, Ken.
Yeah, that was a great question.
Yeah, but a
There
number
may
of
have been
people.
a few people that kind of overthought it.
Yep.
For my original.
I thought this would be a slam dunk.
Great job. All right, moving right along. John Bailey, you ready to share some makeups?
I am. Start off with Jerry Albright has a Vine Street Market makeup. Daryl Cook with a Vine Street Market makeup. Mary Alice has 3 Vine Street Market board meeting and a TAV graduation in Carbondale. Rich Lunan has a Vine Street Market. Nathan Parchman has trivia night and then one for the prep and sign delivery for the trivia night. Jill Petruski has a Zone Summit technical meeting. And Charlie Pitts has a trivia night. David Vale has a NAIN virtual exchange committee and the OTHS Interact officers meeting. And Mr. Greg Yank has one makeup for the presentation to the Rotary International Board.
All right, guys. Thank you, John, and thank you to our Rotarians for giving up your time. And keep those makeups coming. If you have supported a service project or an event that our club is actively supporting, you can enter a makeup. If you have trouble entering your makeup or you need assistance or you just have a question about whether or not it qualifies, reach out to John or myself and we'll help you get it input. All right. Moving right along, I'd like to introduce Ralph Jackson. He is our guest speaker today. Ralph is coming to us from the Lewis and Clark Habitat for Humanity. He has served as a Habitat CEO for nearly 17 years, and he's served at various locations. Valdosta, Georgia, Tampa, Florida, Elkhart County, Indiana, and now here. He's been married for 38 years. He has 3 children, Brandon, Jordan, and Madison. And some of the key projects he's worked on has been, he's been the Jimmy Carter Work Project Director in 2003 in Valdosta, and NFL Super Bowl Super Build Director in 2009 in Tampa, Florida. So I'd like to welcome Ralph aboard. Thank you so much for joining us today.
For having me. This is interesting. This is the first meeting like this that I've attended where it's, you got multiple folks like this with a presentation. So I would have had slides, but our home office just wasn't able to get them to me quick enough. So you're just going to have to listen to me talk. And I'm going to try to keep it really short because I know everyone, it's better when you're able to walk back and forth up in front of a group and you have things that you can hold up like, houses and things like that.
and props. Usually I have a bunch of props, signs, I have handouts, all this other stuff. But so this is going to be new, so just stay with me on it. First of all, I wanted to tell you, I always open up with a little bit of history about Habitat for Humanity because I find that some folks, are not quite sure, how it came together. It actually started in 1976, and it started in Americus, Georgia, which was only an hour and a half from where I lived in Valdosta. But started on a Christian commune farm called Koinonia. And the founder of Habitat, I'm going to show you a picture because most people think it's Jimmy Carter. It's actually Millard Fuller. He was the founder of Habitat for Humanity, him and his wife, Linda. And he was a millionaire, and they decided to give away all their property and their items, and they headed to Koinonia and became residents out there on that commune farm. It was a Christian commune farm. If you go there, it's still there. I go there every time I go up to Americus. It's a typical farm. You've got houses out there, folks live in them, and in fact, if you want to take a week away or something like that, you can actually make reservations and go there and kind of be in that peaceful setting, and they serve meals and so forth and so on. But the guy, Clarence Jordan, was the guy that started the farm, and he was a Bible scholar, and he became the mentor for the founder, Millard Fuller, and that's how Habitat started. They began discussing ways that they could help local families who lived in substandard poverty housing, and so it developed. The whole idea developed there at the farm. Now, what Miller did, which I've never really understood completely, is that they decided to try the model out in Zaire, Africa. So he went to Africa, him and his wife, and started working on the model of how to bring this together, how to bring this concept together. And stayed over there several years and then came back, and they initially called it partnership housing. And they developed the model. And one thing that I find that many folks in the community maybe have not heard or maybe don't realize is that the families, number one, have to put in what we call sweat equity. And it's different in different parts of the country. Here, I think it's 200 hours. And Jim, you can correct me on that, but some places I've been, it's been 250, some it's been 300. And that's where the family has to help build their house with us, with the volunteers and with Habitat for Humanity, and do other volunteer items in the community. And then also they have to attend what we call Financial Peace University. So there is an educational component for the family, prior to moving into the house. We always understand when we're selecting families, we base it on need, and we base it on if the family is willing to partner with us. And so we understand that when we select families, usually it's the families with the greatest needs and that they've had a lot of challenges in life already. And so our program is designed to take that family out of dilapidated areas or areas where there's high crime or where there's a lot of poverty and put them into a more stable neighborhood or a more stable setting. And so the families do participate in the program with the sweat equity. But in addition to that, this is the number one thing I think many may not know, is that the families do pay a monthly mortgage payment. I run into a lot of people out there in the public that believe that Habitat gives the houses away. And that is absolutely not the case. And in fact, I'm always surprised at how the light bulb goes on in their head when I tell them that they actually make monthly mortgage payments, they pay property taxes, You know, they contribute to the community just like any other homeowner would. What the big difference is that the house is sold to them at 0% interest. And so we're not collecting any interest on the loan. Typically, it's going to be a 20 to 30-year loan. And we hold the note. Banks don't hold the note. So the mortgage payments actually come back into the local habitat, and in this case, you know, here at Lewis and Clark. And what we do with that money is we take it and recycle it to build more houses. And so it's a really interesting program because those families, when they make their monthly mortgage payments, they're actually helping future families to, you know, qualify for the program and have a house. It's pretty remarkable. I've been with it, you know, like Tanya said, for about 17 years. And I'll tell you how I got involved. My church sponsored a house back in 1993. And I heard the rumor in the church that we were going to build this house in 5 days with our church volunteers. And I knew most of the members of my church never even touched a hammer. So I couldn't put that together in my head, I'll be honest with you. And I didn't even sign up to go out there. But on that Monday morning, when they started the build, I decided to ride out there just to see for myself. I ended up staying all 5 days. You know, I called my wife, her and I at the time when video was big, we owned video stores. And, you know, I told her I wanted to stay out there for those, you know, those days because this was something really remarkable. You know, what I saw was everyone was very focused on getting the house finished by Friday. But I think what amazed me the most was that we were building a house for a stranger. None of us knew the family. In fact, the family, you know, all of their lives up to that point had been in poverty areas in the community. And I found it to be really remarkable that we would put that energy into it, that we would be out there sweating. You know, this is sweating work, you know, where you're out on a construction site. And believe it or not, by Friday, we turned on the lights. Georgia Power came out there, hooked up the lights. It was about 8 or 9 o'clock at night, but we finished the house, turned on the lights, and then the family moved in about a week later when it got through all of its final inspections and so forth and so on. So that was my first experience with Habitat, building a house in 5 days. And I can tell you it can be done. And one of these days I'll tell you about when we're going to build a house here locally. It's a couple years down the road, but the world record right now is 3 hours, 24 minutes, and 39 seconds. And I hope that we'll break it here. But it takes about 2 to 2.5 years to prepare for it. So I'm not going to get much into it right now. But anyway, and that world record, by the way, was set back in 2006. So it's been about 14 years. No one's even tried it. But anyway, I'm not going to talk much about it because I'll get off my thing here. So anyway, and then I know all of you know that Habitat is very closely associated with the church. Throughout the country, many churches support our program. And it's because it's based on, you know, our model is based on, we are a Christian ministry, you know, and we're unabashed about that. We share that with everyone. But, you know, we believe in faith in action. And so when you're out on the construction site or you're out doing things with Habitat for Humanity, we believe that Christian action is for people seeing that you're helping a stranger and that you're out there working with the family and that you're helping this family to, you know, do something better with their lives. Now, what I've learned over all these roughly 17 years is that You know, I never thought about it until I got involved with Habitat, but we're all a product of our neighborhood, and we're all a product of, you know, the environment that we grow up in. And what I did see up close is that families that are Habitat families really do, it's really a huge impact. And it's not only the mom and dads that the impact, but it's really focused on the children. I've had many families that we've worked with, it was the first time they'd had their own rooms, or it was the first time that they could invite friends from school over to their house, you know, because they were proud of it. And, you know, it was a place that was safe and they felt much safer. And so Millard, you know, used to tell us when he was with us, he passed away in 2009. He used to tell us that really the program was to help the children. It was focused on the children and the family because the feeling was typically most of the families that we serve will normally be single mothers with children. If you look out throughout the whole country, it's typically going to be single moms with children. And so we focus on the impact that it will have on those children. If they live in a dilapidated house in a bad neighborhood in town, there's always drugs, there's always crime. I mean, that's what they see. And they grow up in that environment, and then, you know, the chances are that they're likely going to follow that same pattern. And what we found now that we've been in business for almost 45 years is that many of the children that are impacted with Habitat finish high school, many go to college. It has had a great impact on them. And so, you know, that to me is probably one of the best outcomes, is that these children are growing up in stable neighborhoods. And now I want to be real clear, we don't claim that we solve all the problems in the world. And I always tell groups that I speak to, and even the families, you know, when we are going through the selection process, you know, we're not the answer to all. But if you think back, see, like I do, my neighborhood really had an impact on me. You know, the friends that I had, the people that lived around us, you know, I saw people going to work every day. You know, I saw people cutting their grass. I saw all that going on when I was raised. And, you know, so obviously I continued it when I got to become an adult. It became a normal pattern for me. So that being said, that's where I think I find the program most effective, is that it does have an impact on the family, and it does help the children and the family growing up in that neighborhood. But the other part of it that I always try to let people know about it is the impact on the volunteers. I've seen many volunteers come out to our construction sites, especially the ones that become regulars. And I find that they're searching for something. You know, they're searching for something that's greater than themselves. You know, they find themselves connected to the house, to the project, to the family. And in many cases, you know, when I was in Tampa and when I was in Valdosta, you know, because I was there for many years, many of them became part of our Habitat family. You know, they would come out and work on the houses, be site leaders, work with the families, do different things with them. And I found that it had a tremendous impact on them. You know, they felt that they were doing something really important and that they were helping the families out. And I found that that was remarkable because both sides were helping one another. It was a reciprocal relationship. Something else that I found is that if you ever come to a Habitat construction site, it's the only place I've ever seen where everyone drops their title. I've seen CEOs work next to janitors, you know, a high school janitor. And they would be carrying on a conversation, and there would never be any setting that I would ever see that in, except I've seen it on Habitat construction sites. I remember that we had, when I was in Valdosta, the local university there sponsored a house so that, on the construction side, we had a lot of PhDs. We had a lot of folks, that had advanced degrees. And we were building in a really dilapidated area of town that, believe it or not, most of them had never even seen. It was just on the south end of town, across the tracks. This is in Georgia. And so number one, they were amazed that whole community of poverty existed because they had never seen it themselves. But number two, the amazing part was, they were working side by side with people of all kinds of different backgrounds. And it really had an impact on them. I remember when we, after the build was finished and we dedicated the house, that question came up, the impact that it had. And, they went back to their day-to-day world with a whole different idea. This means something. When I go out there and help these folks, I'm directly helping them. A lot of times we think that money's the thing and we do donations and things like that. But really greater impact is when you're actually working side by side with a family or with others that need the help. So I found, for me, that's been the greatest impacts that I've seen. On the local build, I think Jim told you it's at, we have one going on in O'Fallon right now. It's 209 Dartmouth. And the family, Heather McKenzie family, and we hope, I'm calling that a Home for the Holidays house, because I think, I don't know if any of you have been on many habitat builds, but we do a lot of what we call event builds. And during the holiday season, sometimes we have what's called Habitat Home for the Holidays. And it's a really great time to come out and volunteer because, especially when it's around Thanksgiving and Christmas, you really get the feeling of, what those holidays mean when you're out there on a construction site, you're working with other folks and all the activities going on. So, if you would like to volunteer on that particular house, Jim can probably tell you who to contact. I've been here 3 months, so I'm still learning my way around. I'll be honest with you. I haven't met everybody because no one's meeting, which has been very, very strange for me. I've only seen folks on Zoom. I've seen a couple of other people, in some other meetings, but that's mainly on Zoom. But I tell you, you'd have a great time. You'd have a great time. And they've got a tremendous group of people out there. The chapter chairman for O'Fallon, his name is Ken Beeman. And then our construction guru out there is Lloyd. And a lot of these guys out there, the core group out there are primarily retired military. And so these guys are out there, planning and getting things done. And most of them are retired and they're great guys and they're out there on weekdays and other days of the week. So if you have any interest of that in the club itself, I'm sure Jim could help you out with, setting something up where you could go out there and work with them. One more thing just to tell you about Lewis and Clark. We're an interesting affiliate. What an affiliate is typically over one county. But this particular affiliate, we're over 3 counties. We're over Madison County, St. Clair County, and Bond County. And we have 5 chapters. One of them is in Alton. We have the one in Bond County. We have the one in Collinsville. We have the one in Edwardsville, and we have the one in O'Fallon. So we have 5 chapters in 5 different communities, and it's all under one umbrella. And so in the future, we're going to work to collaborate and coordinate together. And this is going to be an experiment. I'll be honest with you. At the other affiliates that I was at, when I was in Tampa, we just covered Hillsborough County. When I was in Valdosta, it was Lowndes County. And it was only one pretty much town in Tampa. Tampa was pretty much, we had Plant City and Brandon and a couple of other smaller communities, but Tampa was, it. Here we got 5. So what we're going to do here over the next couple of years is kind of unify and work together and collaborate and make our organization stronger that way. Edwardsville and O'Fallon may partner on some things, and Alton and Collinsville. And we're going to, the idea is for us to increase house production so that we can serve more families. And so what we hope to do in the future is, get to have more of an impact on the community. And then, of course, we're going to break that world record. So, hold on to your hats on that, because that's going to be the fun thing. I've actually been working on that idea since 2002. A friend of mine with Habitat New Zealand, they had the world record at the time, and he was telling me about it. That's when I first learned about it. And then it was broken by Shelby, Alabama, Mark and his group. And believe it or not, we started to work on breaking that record when I was in Tampa, and then the recession hit. This was back in 2008, 9, and 10. And so we had to change all that. And so I just want you to know I've been waiting about 18 years. And I don't know if I can wait much longer. So hopefully you guys may help us get to it in a couple years down the road. So that's going to be all I'm going to talk about today. If you have any questions or comments that you'd like to make.
I got a question. This is Phil Roberts. Thank you for your excellent presentation. I learned
Thank
a
you.
lot from it. But I had maybe 2 short questions. How are the sites selected, and what's a typical number of folks who then work at the site? I mean, on average, I'm sure there's a vast difference. But
Right.
how are sites selected and typical number of folks?
Well, typically the sites are typically either the city or the county has, they have land banks, and typically they will donate property. If you think about it, if the property's sitting there vacant, if we build a house on it, it produces property taxes and then use of water and city services and so forth and so on. So it's a win-win for the city or the county if they have property. Sometimes we have property donated to us from individuals. I know here since I've been here in the last couple of months, we've had a couple of folks that are possibly going to donate property down around the Belleville area. Now, as a 501c3 nonprofit, if individuals donate property to us, they get a tax write-off. And so, they can get a full tax write-off, or we can come up with different combinations, that's good for them and also good for Habitat. Very rarely do we buy property. Now, there are some cases when we have bought property, but that's typically we do it with grant money. For example, CDBG money through the city or through the county, that money can be used primarily to purchase property or to be used on development for infrastructure, like putting roads, water, sewer, sidewalks, different things like that. Sometimes we also will get grant money from Habitat International, our home office, what's called a SHOP grant, and that money is also can be used for those things. So we have certain different ways that we can accumulate the property. What was the second question? I'm sorry, Phil.
Just a typical number of folks that
Okay.
volunteer, and I realize there's a vast difference in a lot of cases, but is there a typical average?
There's typical average. Usually when we do a blitz build, now, by the way, a blitz build's a house built in 7 days or less. Typically, it'll take 30 a day on a blitz build. And, when we're doing our planning and all, that's what we plan for. But on a regular build, it's going to be 14 to 20 weeks long. Typically, you're going to have, when you go out there, it depends on what we're working on. Sometimes it's going to be, we just need 8 to 10 people. Sometimes we're going to need 15 to 20 people. For example, when we put the trusses up on the house, we need a lot of strong backs to lift up the trusses and, you know, get them up on up there on, on the roof area. So it just depends. And the way we work it now is that we have a volunteer coordinator, and that person will kind of let, you know, how many folks do we need on certain days for certain jobs.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or?
Ralph, this is Rich. I have a question for you. I understand there is a location, I think in Collinsville, that if people have either some building supplies or some equipment that maybe you can use in a construction, they can take it there. Can you explain where that is and what you accept?
Oh, now is that it? So that's on the construction side, right? On the construction side of it. We accept any tools, the power tools, hammers, any of those items, because we can always use those, you know, in all of our construction projects. What we're going to do here eventually, again, we have 5 chapters right now, and so we're going to, you know, we're going to consolidate quite a bit of that where we can use each other's tools. You know, if we have a project going over on in Fallon and we have tools in Collinsville and they need them, you know, we can use them over there. But we have here at my office, we're located in Collinsville, and we're located on Vandalia, 1950 Vandalia Street. And we have what's called a Habitat Restore that's attached to my office. Maybe some of you have been to the Restore before. But if you have items that you would like to donate, you would donate them to the Restore. If it's construction items, they will let me know, and then we can use them for the construction sites. I don't know if that answered the question fully, or
just could you give me an example of what would be an example of something that you would take as a donation to that Restore?
Well, at the Restore right now, they take more than just construction. They take furniture, they take light fixtures.
Okay.
They take all types of items like that. You know, Phil, thanks for bringing that up, because the Restore, that developed back in the late 90s. In fact, I had to help open up a Restore when I was in Georgia. And what the Restore does is it takes items in, and then we resell it to the public, and then we use that money to build houses. And I'll be honest with you, I'm amazed at how it's developed over all these years. When we opened ours in Valdosta in about 1999, I thought that maybe it would, you know, be like a yard sale, you know, bring in a couple $100 or so forth and so on. It's amazing what's happened in Tampa. We now have 3 Restores there. They're generating several millions of dollars a year, which builds lots of houses, helps them with a lot of that. And if you go to your larger markets, I know over in St. Louis, I'm sure they've got a large Restore. I haven't been over there yet, but I'm sure they've got one over there. But it really has been a great thing. It's turned into a great way. And it's great for folks that need to donate items, and it's great for folks that need to buy items that are really reasonable. I mean, I went over there yesterday. I'm about to finally move into an apartment. Believe it or not, the last 3 months I've been living in a week-to-week hotel. We stay, you know, week to week. And I finally got me an apartment, and I bought a, you know, whole table with chairs and all for about $25. So you really get good, it's good prices, good stuff, really good stuff.
Let me chime in on that just a moment. Rich, to answer your question, the things that that come in every day that sell very quickly, if you have leftover items from a construction project, you have a half a box of floor tiles, you have a roll or two of wallpaper, you have unopened can of paint. You have extra brushes, you have you know, things like that. Those sell very quickly in the Restore. And one of the things about this Restore is that from the opening day, and this COVID thing has kind of gotten in the way, but that has been just wildly successful, with most days generating in one day in terms of revenue what the old store did in a week. So it's been really encouraging to us. And for those of you who are looking for a place to get involved with Habitat, the Restore is always looking for volunteers and looking for people to either take in donations, to clean donations, to stock shelves, to meet the public, to run the cash register, to help in other ways. And we're looking for people that can commit to an hour or two a week on a consistent basis. And that really helps the Restore then staffing and really keeps us going.
Right. Thanks, Jim. You're right on all that. That's good.
All
Any other
right.
questions or?
I just have one comment. So as a realtor, I am a huge fan of Habitat for Humanity and the impact that it has, not only on the community at large, because it takes sometimes vacant lots and they put a great looking home in the neighborhood there. But then the other thing is just the impact that, like you said, giving somebody a hand up, and they are able to now have home ownership. And studies have shown that home ownership affects the generations of wealth. So it's a wealth building process, and giving someone a hand up to start that process for their family is so important. So thank you for everything you do, and thank you for presenting today.
All right, thank you for having me today.
All right, so we'll move on to a couple of other announcements, guys, and then we'll close out the meeting. A couple of things. Don't forget that Grayson is available for a digital one-on-one. So if you have questions or need help with your Zoom calls, or just about anything, he does have availability. Bob Kaufman, are you still on here?
Still here.
Bob, you want to give a quick shout out about the virtual Halloween costume contest?
Sure. The contest is being advertised on Facebook and also on our Rotary website. Last Saturday, I went to the Vine Street Market and handed out about 75, 80 flyers to people that were at the market that had kids. And I'll plan to do that each of the next few weeks. I also had someone that's a teacher send a class email out to teachers and I guess parents of kids that attend St. Clair's School. And in any event, I think it's being very well advertised, and we'll see how many contestants that we have at the end of October. We also, Tanya was gracious enough to develop an addition to Facebook to include a contest for pets as well that are dressed up for Halloween. So that's about where we stand right now. I'll get an update from Grant Litkin next week and see how many contestants have entered the contest. And then at the end of the month, I'll be asking several folks to help judge to pick winners of each one of the categories. So contest, I think, is going well at this point.
Thank you for the update, Bob. And I can see on Facebook that several of us are sharing it. Continue to share, continue to get the word out about this costume contest. The pet contest is a little bit different. We're asking for people to post pictures directly on our Facebook page of their pets in a Halloween costume. And then they get as many likes and shares as they possibly can. And so as the person with the most likes and shares wins a $50 gift card to Peel. All right. Vine Street Market volunteers. Rich, how's that going?
Going well. We are booked for the 17th, but I do need a couple of volunteers for this coming weekend, this coming Saturday. And I would really like to give priority to some folks who haven't done it yet because we're near the end. We just have this weekend and next weekend. So please email me priority to somebody who's not done it before. But if you have done it before and would like to work, we'll see whether or not we can work you in.
Wonderful. Thank you, Rich. All right, and then a reminder that this Saturday is also the Rotary Virtual Summit. So if you haven't registered, you can register via DACDB. I did send out a link last week via email and it didn't go very well. I tried to resend it again, but I don't know if it went through. If you have any questions or you're having trouble registering through DACDB, please give me a call or send me a text message and I can help you with getting registered. It's a great event. Jill, do you have anything to add to that? All righty, maybe Jill has jumped off. Okay, moving right along. There is an opportunity to earn 500 Paul Harris points to the person who brings in the most new club members. So our club is awarding 500 Paul Harris points, which is halfway to your first Paul Harris Fellow if you don't have one. And all you got to do is tell people about Rotary and let them know that we'd love to have them join us. All right, and then final announcement. You guys are all going to get an email about this. I want to thank everyone who participated in our recent survey about whether or not we should have an in-person outdoor social event. I'm going to send out an email with some information. The thoughts on this are twofold. One, even if we do it outdoors, we're still limited to 25 people or less, according to the St. Clair County guidelines. So even if we do have some sort of an event, we're going to need to limit it to 25 members, and it would be members only. It would be a registration type event. But we do have a social coming up in pretty short order. So 2 weeks from today is our October social. And it was kind of brought to our attention that there's a lot of local restaurants right now that are still struggling with these new guidelines that have been put in place. So what we thought we might do is have an order out night. And this would be counted as, you know, attendance if you participated in this. It's a service project of sorts. So October 19th, we'll send you an email with a menu and pricing, and then we'll coordinate the pickup of the meal. And then you can either sit in your car and eat it, you can go to a picnic table and eat it, or you can take it home. It's not necessarily going to be any sort of a formal thing outside of that. It's just more of a way of us as a club to get behind a small business at this time. And if this goes well and we have a great deal of support, I don't see any reason why we could not continue this for other small businesses in our area, because we have such a great community of small businesses here. Anything else?
Tanya, I do have one other thing. This is Rich. I got a text message from Brad Lewis. He had a guest today. I think Ian is still with us. Ian Rutter, I think, or Rutter, R-U-T-T-E-R. Ian, are you still with us?
I'm here.
Hi, Ian.
Hi.
Take a moment to introduce yourself real quickly for us.
Well, for starters, I've known Brad for, well, I'm 31 now, so I've known him about 31 years. We grew up together, so, and he caught me at a weak moment to agree to do this at first while he was helping move a hot tub this past weekend. So, but about me, I work for R&W Builders, which is in O'Fallon. I'm also a realtor in O'Fallon with Coldwell Banker. So that's about it. Went to O'Fallon High School. and graduated in 2007. So that's about the long and short of it.
Welcome, Ian.
Thanks.
All righty. Anything else for the good of the club? Nothing else? Just one quick reminder that we do have no meeting next week in observance of Columbus Day, but stay tuned for information about our social the following week. We'll get information out to you. And again, please keep supporting those local restaurants with takeout options, even if you're not able to eat outside. We really need to get behind those guys right now. There's nothing else for the good of the club.
May I say something real quick? You know, this has been really enjoyable. I just wanted to let you folks know that this is, you've come up with a great meeting. You know, I was concerned about how the meeting would go and how it would work out, but I've just been tremendously impressed. So I just wanted to let you know, thank you for that.
Maybe you should become a Rotarian. How about that?
Well, you know, I used to be many, many moons ago, and that would be something that I would be very interested in. But your meeting was just so well managed. I'm very impressed. Thank you.
Well, that's a big kudos to Grayson. Grayson, thank you so much for all that you do in managing the meeting. And absolutely, Mr. Jackson, we would love to have you join us again for another meeting. And next time we'll even have Woody tell a joke.
That would be fine.
Let's
Thank
not
you.
run him away.
Don't scare him off.
It would take a
Maybe we
lot
should
to
have
run
a
me
vote on
away,
the
I'll
joke.
tell you that.
Great. All right, guys. Well, I'll declare this meeting adjourned, and I will see you all again soon.
Take care, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.